The new saddle D1 aims to combine things that have been regarded so far as contradiction in terms. In particular, the horse's possibility to move freely under a saddle, the requests of vets, physical therapists and chiropractors for short saddles, providing lots of freedom for the shoulders and a large panel area without too much girthing. And finally, the rider's requirements for a close contact with the horse and to feel each movement.
Intensiv jeden Bewegungsrhythmus mitspüren zu können.
D1 is a saddle that developed over time and use. The freedom of the shoulders is a result from reducing the size of the gussets. The elastic pre-girth strap avoids severe pressure from the girth, and the especially short gusset was developed to provide a comparatively big panel for horses with a short, modern conformation. The result you see here is an excellently to-ride saddle with a seat as deep as possible, and you will notice right away that horses and riders will like it. Prestige D1 is a showstopper. Meanwhile, many top-class riders like Olympic champion Hinrich Romeike prefer this innovative saddle. Katrin Meyer zu Strohen, one of the most successful trainers of young dressage horses, explains what convinced her to use this saddle.
So, dann haben wir das einfach mal ausprobiert.
Yes, and then we just changed the saddle and started to use the Prestige D1. Right from the very beginning, it was obvious and noticeable that the horse's suppleness improved and that it immediately released the back. It was an incredible difference for me. And it was very easy to continue to work as the horse's movements were very flexible and it kept the nose in front of the vertical as it should be. You know, Wells Fargo was successfully placed at the World Breeding Dressage Championships for young horses, and I think this success is certainly due to the saddle. When we used the old saddle again, it was quite obvious that the horse started to push against the contact and that it lost flexibility. There was no swinging movements in the back anymore. I had the feeling he was simply running.
Diese ganze Schwingung vom Rücken her war auf einmal total weg, jetzt vom reiterlichen Gefühl her. Ich hatte das Gefühl, der packt sich jetzt auf die Hand und rennt einfach nur los.
A saddle can restrict the horse's natural strides, especially in the walk, or by implication support and improve the walk, as you can clearly see in the right picture. In the trot and in the canter, a less restrictive girthing and the wide gullet ensure perfect uphill-going movements with only soft and gentle aids of the rider. Wells Fargo successfully competed at the World Breeding Dressage Championships for young horses in Pferden, and he's a good example to show that saddles that frequently fit while the horse is standing are too tight in movement. You have to keep in mind that while riding, the horse's thoracic spine arches upward. In this situation, and it would of course be possible to show it even more extreme, you will realize two things. First of all, you will notice that the horse seems to grow, and second, that a saddle that fits while the horse is standing is always too tight in movement.
Des unpassenden Sattels zu vergegenwärtigen. Unpassend im Sinne von breiterer Kammerweite.
The D1 does not fit in the classical sense. The front width is 1 or 2 sizes too wide. Therefore, the saddle tips forward while standing. There is no stability.
1 bis 2 Nummern breiter als regulär. Deswegen wippt der Sattel im Stehen. Es ist überhaupt kein Halt im Stehen.
If I saddle the horse and fix the D1 with a girth and only tighten the rear girth, remember that the front strap is elastic, then suddenly this saddle is completely fixed, and I have the same effect than with a wide saddle that matches and fits completely.
Ist der Sattel ausschließlich durch diese Begurtung fest fixiert und ich habe den Effekt eines zu breiten Sattels im Sinne des Maßnehmens auf einem Pferd hingelegt, das eigentlich einen 2 Nummern engeren Sattel bräuchte als jetzt.
The elastic pre-girth strap has only a leading but no girthing effect anymore. Both straps are always fixed in the same hole. If I would tighten the pre-girth strap more severely, the saddle would shift forwards.
Diese Strippe ist immer elastisch. Das heißt, das Aufwölben der Brustwirbelsäule ist unter dem Sattel maximal möglich. Das Höchstmaß an Schulterfreiheit.
Here you can see that with the D1, a maximum arching of the thoracic spine is possible. This saddle provides an utmost freedom for the shoulders, and as compared to other saddles, it has a half-moon-shaped opening at the front part of the gusset, so that the top of the shoulder blade can move as freely as possible. There is enough space to put a hand between saddle and horse at any time. This guarantees, especially during the exercises, half-passes or flying changes, that the horse can develop utmost suppleness, elasticity and power. Here you can see the perfect construction of the French gusset that is completely different from common gussets. A common construction would considerably lengthen the panel area. But even though today's modern horses have a shorter body, their movement qualities are better, and a saddle should match this development. If you measure the back, the saddle should be no longer than at least up to this part of the back, and it is intended that the cantle of the D1 seems to have a little space under it. That's how it should be.
Ohne Kontakt eines Sattels sein. Und das erfüllt dieser Sattel durch sein französisches Kissen. Dass der Sattel im hinteren Bereich leicht in der Luft ist gewollt und soll so sein.
Also ich muss sagen, das ist.
I have to admit that the D1 is a fascinating saddle I liked right from the beginning. I cannot say that about every saddle, and I've tested quite a few. You always need some time of adjustment, but with the Prestige D1, I knew from the first movement that's it. But the most important thing was to realize that my horses felt comfortable. Bellissimo likes it too. There is no better saddle for me. We once again tested different saddles, and when I rode the D1 again, it was a feeling like coming home. You simply feel comfortable, and you realize that the horses feel comfortable too.